Governor Strickland, Stuart Musinski from Project Love Purple America. We're a character and values education program. Most CEOs in this state and other states will hire on competence, but they'll fire on character.
That's right.
The state of Maryland several years ago instituted a mandatory character education program for all schools, including state of Maryland universities. We've just gone through an economic meltdown that many people around our country would say was not based on intelligence or lack thereof, but based on a lack of character and values. Will you consider amending your education agenda to require that character and values education, and when I talk about values, I'm talking about shared core values, the fundamentals of who we are as human beings. Will you amend your education agenda to include a mandatory character and values education in all Ohio schools, including our publicly funded universities?
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your obvious commitment to this. I think it's a good idea, but I think it would be hugely controversial because, as you said, you want to focus on the core values that are widely embraced. And the concern I have, quite frankly, is that this could lead us to very divisive debates as to what is a core value and what should be taught in terms of character. But do I believe it's needed? I absolutely do. This economic situation was not inevitable. It was the result of avarice and greed, in my judgment, and so your point is very well taken. Now, since it's a good idea, without committing to you that we are going to amend our plan and require it across all of our schools and our universities, I do think it would be an appropriate issue for discussion with our superintendent, and maybe we could learn more about what you are doing and perhaps find an approach and a model that we would be able to get wide agreement on and support. So, but thank you for your obvious concern. I think it's a very valid one.
Good afternoon, Governor. Katie Kelly from Groundwork. In light of your effort to make education the cornerstone of Ohio's economic turnaround, I wondered if you could discuss your decision to dramatically decrease resources for early childhood in this budget, including reducing access to quality early education for 14,000 children, eliminating the Early Learning Initiative, and vetoing budget language for early childhood mental health treatment, all programs which provide critical school readiness for our most at-risk students.
I'll be most happy to respond to your question. The fact is that we had a bifurcated system of early child care and education in Ohio. Many children went to programs that cost a little over $6,000. The Early Learning Initiative, the ELI program that you made reference to, costs more than $10,000 per student. There was not supporting data that we were getting additional value for that additional cost. And so our goal was to make sure that we didn't eliminate any child currently receiving such care, but we want a unified system of early learning and child care in Ohio, not a tiered system. And we think what we are doing will continue to see that current enrollees remain enrolled. We are seeing the reduction of the eligibility for future enrollees during this very difficult budget period from 200 to 150% of poverty. But we think we are using the resources available to us in a way that will extend to more children, and we are using our resources in a very cost-effective way. I understand that many of the Eli programs probably were of very high quality, but the difference in the cost of a little over $6,000 to a little over $10,000 seemed dramatic enough that the wisest thing to do during this period of time was to go with a lower cost program and serve more children in that way. Now, in terms of the particular veto, there were provisions in the budget that I felt limited the ability of our cabinet directors to use the resources they had most effectively. And so when certain amendments were put in the budget that in my judgment tied the hands of our cabinet directors and gave them less flexibility, then my tendency was to veto those provisions across a range of matters in this budget. It is true that many of my cabinets my cabinet members are receiving 20 and 30% less resources in this biennial budget. And given those circumstances, I felt that our cabinet members deserved to have the greatest level of flexibility possible as they made the difficult decisions as to how they were going to use those limited resources.
Hello, Governor. Bill Dennehan from the newly consolidated Alcohol and Drug Addiction and Mental Health Boards here in the county. Governor, I think you failed to mention that you should take credit for announcing the new state mental health hospital in Cleveland that serves
right.
more than 2,000 Clevelanders that now have to go to Summit County for treatment. So, Governor, thank you.
It's going to be a magnificent new addition, and thank you, Bill, for mentioning that.
The other thing you need to take credit for, and taking the advice of our Lieutenant Governor Lee Fisher and House Speaker Edmund Budish, is to reverse the decision of administrative decision to remove $12.8 million from the mental health allocations, and I want to thank you for that also, Governor.
And let me give due credit to Speaker Budish for that. Thank you.
My question is...
That's all we've got time for.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Yes. Today at the City Club of Cleveland Forum, we have been listening to the Honorable Ted Strickland, Governor of the State of Ohio. Thank you, Governor Strickland. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This forum is now adjourned.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.